Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of 8 Ounces of Inspiration. I have with me Deepak Sharma. Deepak is a serial entrepreneur and currently the founder and CEO of the Longevity Club. Deepak truly embodies the spirit of a true entrepreneur. He's creative, an optimist, a hustler, inspires those around him, and a creator. He has served as the chapter president of BNI Amber, and the first BNI chapter of Rajasthan. He always makes time for conversations and brainstorming and connects people openly and generously. And that's one of the traits that I have really admired about Deepak since I've met him. That even though you may not have seen him in a year's time or 6 months' time, suddenly one day you'll get a call or you'll get an introductory email, him connecting you to somebody because he thinks that it can enable you to do something more. And I truly, truly admire that about you, Deepak. So, firstly, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. I'm so
Uh,
happy seeing you after such a long time, and thanks for inviting me to your
Oh,
podcast.
absolutely. You've been on my wish list to get on the podcast. It's been a long time and I'm finally have you here. So I'm going to start with my first question, right? And this is because I've heard you speak and I kind of know a little bit about your background, that you worked in the media space, when you started your entrepreneurial journey. So tell us a little bit more about it, about that venture, and what got you into the entrepreneurship bandwagon?
Okay, so my journey started just after the college, or I would say when I was in the college. So I studied from DAV College, Dehradun, and luckily or unluckily, I got dropped out after first year. So from the first year itself, there were certain things which were pretty exciting for me because my upbringing and my schooling happened from a very small and holistic town called Haridwar.
Okay.
So in Haridwar, the atmosphere, the environment of businesses was very different, very laid back town, very traditional way of thinking. So when I started exploring the outside world, especially when I started traveling to Dehradun, so it was just a half an hour or maybe 45 minutes drive. But
Mhm.
from the cultural point of view, it was such a big difference. The kind of things people were doing, the kind of things people were talking, the way they were behaving, everything was different. There was like suddenly you got transported every day to a metro, and then in the evening you come back to a small
Yeah.
town. So maybe that was one of the influencing point for me, that I wanted to create something which can go beyond the limitations of a particular city where I was getting grown up. So that is how it all started, and I did lot many things. So media part was just I was really impressed with a guy who started these crime patrolling episodes in India on Doordarshan. His name was Sohaib Ilyasi. So I really got inspired that this guy is really doing, when you are young, when you see someone doing something different, so
Yeah.
you really, fall for them. So I thought, wow, how I can, extend myself to his venture. So since I was connected with a lot of people who knew internet at that time, I'm talking about 22 years back,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I personally also had a flair for internet and things. So I decided, why not we create a web version of this particular TV series. So
Okay.
nowadays everyone talks about web series. So
Yeah.
22 years back, we thought, okay, this guy is showing this program on the TV, but since not all the people are able to watch the TV, or they are not able to recall those faces,
Mm.
so how they are going to report? So I thought, why not create a web series of this television? And so
Interesting.
that's how it all started, and it was an amazing journey. Though I had to do it all by myself, and I got the approval later on. So first I produced the web version, and then I went to the producer, and then I told him that, okay, this is how it is going to benefit your viewers and all. But after a long, long, long wait, finally it got the
Mhm.
space in the TV, and
Okay.
our servers. Initially, there were initial days, and we got so many hits on the website that it all went. It all went in the wrong direction. Our server got crashed. We had so many hits, We never imagined that we can get so many
Yeah.
viewers at the same time. So, but yes, it was an interesting journey, and it was just an experiment that what can be done, and that thing actually opened up a complete horizon. That space doesn't matter, location doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you can think of something, then
You can
you
make it
can
happen.
actually do it anywhere.
Absolutely. It's so interesting. You're saying that 22 years ago, when web series, like you say, was unheard of, people wouldn't even
Right.
have imagined कि ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है and it could have a market, and you dabbled into it then. So it looks like you have a lot of foresight, into what future is going to make things hot, and let me start experimenting with it now.
Frankly speaking, at that time, I never thought it this way, that it will be the future or something like that. I can say that I was not that visionary, but I was looking for the solution of a problem,
Yeah,
that this particular TV serial is coming for half an hour. And within half an hour, human eyes or memory, not everyone is having photogenic memory.
yeah,
So even if you see some criminal's photograph on the screen for 1 minute, for few seconds, if
not
I
going to
have to report
remember.
someone, I need to be very sure.
Yeah,
So just by from my memory, I can't be that sure ki this
yeah,
guy is the same who was broadcasted on television in the
yeah,
last episode. So I was looking for the solution of the problem, and then I landed up that why not create a web version of the same serial, so
yeah.
that whenever someone want to report, just go open the website, see the
And
faces
see
again,
it.
and then report it on.
Wow, so
So
you
at
made it
that time, it was just
accessible anytime, anywhere to anybody. That is so amazing. My next question is, I've always seen you as a very creative person. You're bubbling with ideas. I think that's something that we both have, we share so commonly, And so it
yeah.
takes fun to understand another one. And you're a
Hmm.
hustler, right? And you've been an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur. And I know that entrepreneurship sometimes can get exhausting because
Yeah.
our mind is racing 24/7. Even when we sleep, it's still working, right? Have you
Right.
ever felt tired? Because it's been a long, whatever, 2.5 decades or 3 decades of just being an entrepreneur, ventures and, putting your mind into various creative pursuits. Has it ever felt like, God, I'm exhausted?
Okay, so tired? No, I think no. But yes, I got bored in my journey, and so it has happened very frequently that I started with one problem, with the solution of a particular problem, and eventually, when you actually get into the problem, when you actually create something to solve that problem, then all of a sudden you realize, oh, it doesn't have that value which I thought of initially when I
Yeah,
really started working on the idea. So those disappointments definitely have come many a times in life, because when you initiate the idea, everything seems so rosy. It's just like
mm,
first love. It
yeah,
looks like, okay, this is for the lifetime. I need not to do anything else.
yeah,
So initially, this used to happen a lot, that I thought of something, and since I'm kind of a hustler, so I used to arrange the resources
yeah,
to execute that particular idea. So for me, execution became the easy task, and conceptualizing became harder and harder. So in the early days, I used to make this mistake a lot, that I started working on something. I gave my 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years to that problem. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh no, I need to do something bigger.
mm,
So at times the problems were worth solving, but I couldn't comprehend the vision of it
yeah,
from the future self. So I left it in between. But yes, overall journey went fantastic. Not tiredness, but yeah, to keep the momentum going on, you need very good team also. So I realize that I tried to achieve, or I tried to build things all by myself. So that was maybe a mistake, because
mm,
that's why I believe nowadays all the VCs, all the startup gurus, they tell that no, having a co-founder is a very good idea, and
yeah.
everyone should have a co-founder. So I missed that part in my career journey, and now I regret that. If I could have had a better team earlier, so maybe I could have made few more success stories.
Yeah, but I also feel that, having been an entrepreneur myself, right, both in service, that every venture or every idea has a different need. Sometimes you don't need co-founders because it's a very individually driven venture or idea, right? Like say my dance classes, right? It requires me. It needs people to expand, but doesn't necessarily need a leadership team to run it, right? And it doesn't take too much. But at the same time, when you're building a product or a community, then yes, you need people because there are a lot of elements to it which are required to bring together to make it into a successful venture. But I think you've done
Right.
really good. So, you should be really proud of yourself. You've done
Yeah,
some
yeah.
amazing
I'm very
ideas.
happy
I
actually.
remember every idea of yours. You've come to our office. We've kind of,
Brainstorm.
brainstormed it together. And, even with the lobe, I remember Zatalogs, and I thought that was so novel and that was so amazing. And we used it, and it was really phenomenal. So my next question is, that which I did in your introduction also, I spoke this, that one thing I've really admired and appreciated about you is that your openness to connect people to opportunities when you feel that it would fit a person, whether that person is in your immediate network or radar or not, and
Right.
open opportunities for them, right? And it's a very, very giving and generous side of a person, I feel, and because a lot of people, I see, being in the industry of coaching and being in the industry, a lot of startups, a lot of individuals, they don't like to share their connections. It could come from a space of like, oh my God, what if it's my connection and then they take it and move ahead of me and I'm just left, or they leave me. People have their own ways of thinking, but you've never been like that. You're just quite very, very generous, and I've like been a recipient of your generosity. That's why I'm asking this question. What makes you like this?
Uh, I think in my life's journey, I have met similar people more often. So I never had any professional connects and not even academic background to connect with the right set of people. But I never felt the lack of connections because somehow uh, I met almost every year or second year. I meet someone who is very influential and who is completely, trying to support people. Not only me, but
Hmm.
in general, people are like that. Another thing is sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times, we feel hesitated in asking support. So I
Yeah.
have seen if you be upfront and if you can have the guts to say, okay, I need the help in this particular matter,
Hmm.
then you will all of a sudden you will start finding lot many people helping you in that.
Yeah.
So I think first, if you open up that you need help, and if you can be vocal about it, then that attitude slowly and gradually develops. Another thing is, I personally have felt so many amazing success stories in my life where I met someone almost a year back in an open meeting.
Hmm.
We exchanged the cards. I gave them certain references. I took certain references, and then everything went normal. And after a year and a half, I connect with the same person again, and all of a sudden, that person becomes the catalyst for maybe the funding, or maybe some bigger connection, or maybe he helps me solving in getting the solution of a particular problem.
Yeah.
So for me, connecting with people and retaining them, and maybe I'm not going to a lot of parties or meetings, but I feel creating a connection with the open mind is always pays you back.
That's
It has never gave me any losses. It has always given me something good.
that's wonderful. And I think, to your point, the more
And Nidhi,
generous and
I will just take a 1 second, 5 seconds. Right. So we were talking
and
about.
so I think this openness that we have, where we are open to introducing people, we are open to referring people, the universe in its own way brings that full circle back to us at some point or the other, because we've been so open to help others without a vested interest. or a motivation, and I think anything done with a very pure intention, I've started to believe, because now I do so much of affirmation and things like that,
Right.
that it
Right.
does circle back and it has a certain power and energy which we don't
It
understand.
definitely. I'm 100% believer in this theory that you be open, be honest, don't expect
Yeah.
something in return. I think even our spiritual text say
Yes.
the same thing,
Yeah.
you keep on doing your karmas, don't
Yeah.
worry about the returns and all. So, and it is a very practical solution. So people think that people are greedy or people are negative or they don't want to
Yeah.
connect with the people, but if you will start sending those good vibes with the open mind, then you will start attracting similar set of people, and I have seen it very
Yeah.
often. And like both of us, we had no
Yes.
such connection and we
Yeah.
had no business benefits
Yeah.
from each other, but
Absolutely.
we got connected and we tried to help each other a
Yes,
lot
as
of
much
times.
as possible. Yeah. And we've always had good intentions for each other. We've
Yes.
always meant well and things like that. And I think also I've seen this a lot in my career too, that because I'm always working with entrepreneurs, right? Startups, that's been my space, coaching them, that when your work is good and you're really invested because you want to see them successful, now that's my space. I want to see that they automatically, when they speak to another startup and that startup is struggling, they'll send them to me, and it just works like a chain reaction because somebody feels that you've enabled their success. So,
Right.
they feel that. So, coming now to my next question, a little bit more on your personal life. I've known you for almost like whatever, 11, 12 years. And I know that you're really into, of course, wellness, fitness. You're married, right? But you chose
Yeah.
you don't have kids.
No.
Yeah, so you all have chose
I
to
never.
stay as a couple, versus not
Right.
expand the family. So was that
Right.
something which was a conscious decision being an entrepreneur, that I don't have time, so let me not, uh, bring a child into the world because then I may not be able to do justice, or was it just a random?
In the initial days of my career, definitely this was the thought that first, be something, be someone, and then think of expanding the family. But as I grew wiser, I realized there is no end to this particular statement that let me be something, because there will always be someone ahead of you.
Yeah.
So at a later stage, it was not about the career or something like that. It was just me and my wife. It was a joint decision. We never felt like extending the family. And so, there is a voice that comes, or there is a need which you feel. So it's purely the natural decision of both
Yeah.
of us that even if we have to extend or plan the family, we will try to adopt,
Okay.
and we will adopt more children.
Yeah.
Then
Give somebody a home. Yeah.
yeah, so that is the thought in the mind. But yes, in the initial years, this thought was there that let's focus on the work and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, I realized no, that is not the right way of thinking,
Yeah.
and no entrepreneur should worry about those things.
Yeah.
Life goes on, everyone makes its his or her own space,
Yeah.
so no one is dependent on you or your karmas or your finances. So
Yeah.
things go on, they never stop. So
Absolutely.
nobody should
Absolutely.
entrepreneur should not think or should not plan their personal lives along
Based on it.
keeping in mind their career pattern or career growth. I
Yeah.
think that is not
Yeah.
necessary.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, I mean, we feel like a lot of couples feel that we are enough.
Yeah.
We're not just bringing a child because we want to take care of some void or vacuum or, something that's a missing piece. We are just enough. So why do we need, right? Maybe we
Right.
are not for each other. So my next question is, what's your why for Longevity Club? Why
Okay.
did you launch this venture?
So throughout my journey, I have been associated with lot many wellness companies. Long back, almost 10, 12 years back, I was working with a Ayurveda based company where we were talking and educating people about the preventive side of wellness
Okay.
from the Ayurvedic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And in between also, I got the opportunity to work with multiple people, or on multiple occasion I was working with into the wellness space. So every time I realized one thing, that whenever we talk about wellness,
Hmm.
wellness sounds premium, wellness sounds expensive, you know.
Mhm.
So whenever we, even ayurveda in itself is
Yeah,
expensive. It is
yeah,
also not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
very much affordable. So I always used to think that what can be a solution, because these wellness driven companies, wellness based companies, they have to educate a lot to their
Hmm.
consumers. So
Hmm.
that education process, that customer acquisition process, a lot of marketing, it all needs money,
Yeah.
right? So the product by default becomes expensive because there is a limited demand of the product.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
are limited number of people who want to go proactive about their wellness.
Hmm.
So demand is less. So since demand is less, so supply becomes a challenge. Suppliers are too many, demand is less, so competition is too high. A lot of money is being spent on advertising, on customer acquisition, and all. So I always used to imagine, can there be a possibility, can there be a way where everyone starts consuming good quality wellness healthcare products, nutraceutical products in their day-to-day life,
Hmm.
and this habit or this adoption doesn't kill them in terms of expenses. So
Yeah.
this was the problem I have personally faced when I used to work with different companies, because we used to acquire a customer with a lot of efforts, and after 1 month, 2 months, this customer used to go out of the funnel. Why? Because they can't afford to buy the nutraceuticals.
Yeah.
They, even if some suppose there is a family of four people in average Indian families, there are four people in one
Yeah.
family. But if just imagine one simple example, there was a study that almost 90% of Indians
Hmm.
have protein deficiency in
Yeah.
their average daily diets,
Yeah.
right? Now, how you can remove that deficiency? If you are vegetarian, especially if you are
Hmm.
vegetarian,
Hmm.
you can't eat a lot of cheese every day. You can't
Yeah.
drink a lot of milk every day.
Yeah.
So somehow you need good quality supplements
Supplements. Yeah.
which can fulfill that particular deficiency just by taking one scoop, by sprinkling it in onto your vegetables, or just by
Yeah.
making a shake of it. It can save you from so many different problems in your future life.
Yeah.
But people are not able to afford a good quality protein powder supplement for their entire family.
Hmm.
Now, this is a personal story I'm telling you. Once my younger brother, my real younger brother, I was, preaching him that, protein intakes are less. So, you should have the protein. I will
Hmm.
send you the link. This is the best company, and you order this and
Hmm.
make it a habit.
Hmm.
So, after consuming it for 15 days, what he told me, yeah, bhai, mera to theek hai, but mom is also there. My wife is also there.
Yeah.
Kid is also there. It doesn't look nice that I only eat the protein. And
Yeah.
if I will start ordering for everyone, it will go out of budget.
Yeah.
So I realized this is a problem even in my household.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, no, it's everywhere.
This,
It's a
yeah.
universal problem, except HNIs. जिनका पैसे का stream इतना है, but HNIs are just one, not even 1% of the total population.
Yeah.
So what about this 90% of the janta, uh, which is having deficiencies of calcium basics? I'm not talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
any exotic supplements.
Yeah.
I'm talking about very basics: vitamin D3,
Hmm.
calcium, ALA,
Yeah.
protein powder.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 4 5 basic supplements.
Yeah.
We all need to consume it because after a certain time, our body can't produce it in the enough number. And to prevent yourself from lifestyle diseases, you need to supplement your body in a nice way. So
Hmm.
this was the problem statement,
Hmm.
and the solution came to my mind when I used to go to a lot of clubs. I used to have a lot of parties, so I was socially pretty active.
Hmm.
So idea of joining a good reputed club always, it used to excite
Stay
me.
with you.
Like
Yeah.
In Jaipur, if we talk about, there is a Rambagh Golf Club. So
Hmm.
you go there to play golf. And if if you're going there with some friend or someone who is already a member, it gives you a good, privileged feeling that
Yeah.
okay, you're part of something nice. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, there are so many benefits, that you can play golf at a very nominal rate, you can
Hmm.
order food at a very nominal rate, the gym is very
Well,
economical and
yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah. So lots of
So I think
benefits.
lots of benefits. So I picked up the idea from these social clubs, and I thought, why not we implement the same strategy, same principle
Do this.
onto the wellness space.
Yeah,
So in the longevity club, we charge a very nominal lifetime membership fee,
yeah,
which almost every Indian can afford.
yeah.
Our idea is to go to the masses. And once you become the club member, so our customer acquisition cost, our marketing cost, our onboarding cost comes from that membership fee, which
Hmm.
is very nominal, just 40 $45
Yeah, yeah,
for the lifetime. In Indian
yeah,
rupees,
yeah.
only 3,600 rupees for the lifetime. And once you are part of the club, so I am not worried now for the consumers,
Hmm.
because the community is already there. So
Yes.
now my focus completely shifts on bringing the best quality products from the best manufacturers. And through the technology, we have created an app. So through the technology, every member who is part of the club, they can directly place the order from the app. So we
Okay.
eliminate entire middleman
Demand
chain.
change. Yeah,
There are no wholesalers, there are no retailers, there are no marketing costs, there
yeah.
are no CA, customer acquisition costs. Simple. You are already part of the community. We keep on introducing new and new products, and when the people are happy with the product, we retain those products, and where people are not happy, we simply chuck those products away. So it's that
I
simple process.
think that's a really, really good point you said, that you'll curate very intelligently the right products so that, the community doesn't have to do the research, but they're just given well-researched products. They just have to see whether it suits them and how it works. And I think it's a brilliant idea. It's a much needed concept that needs to be brought into our ecosystem because wellness, especially after COVID times, we all realize has to become it's not like a fashionable statement to have, but now it's like a must statement. It has to become a
It's a
part of
must.
our life.
Yes.
Well, with that, we come to the end of our podcast. But very quickly, I want to ask you some really personal questions to see a different side of you. So this is a rapid fire question, one
Okay.
second answers. What's your favorite color?
Black.
Black. Oh, you're wearing white. So I thought you're going to say white. Which is your
Yeah.
favorite city to visit in the world?
Uh, Favorite city, Rishikesh. I love
Rishikesh.
Rishikesh.
Wonderful. A word that you find yourself using very frequently when you speak.
Dreams.
Dreams. Um, a quotation that inspires you greatly, or you find yourself quoting a lot when you're speaking to an audience.
Attitude is everything.
Wonderful. One ability or a quality that you want to imbibe in yourself that you feel currently you don't have and you would love to acquire.
I want to bring more focus in my life.
Wonderful. I think that's mine too. But on that note, Deepak, we want to wish you great, great luck with taking Longevity Club far and wide across the nation, across the world, where people can really feel the sense of happiness that comes from community bonding because they're getting not just wellness, but a lot more, I would say, not physical wellness, but mental well being. I think that's the need of the hour confidence, self worth. And wish you great luck and wish
Thank
you
you so very much. Thank you, Nidhi,
amazing,
and all the
amazing
best.
opportunities. Thank
All
you.
the best for your broadcast as well. You are doing a wonderful work. You are
Thank
giving
you.
opportunity to so many people, and inspiring in the process, inspiring so many more. So
Yeah.
keep up the good work,
Thank you.
and
And we'll
let's
continue to brainstorm.
make. And in one of my community events, I will invite you next time.